Kunjabiyare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Janitaya Go Premanandi Haribo. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotara Sata Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotara Sata Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sarisi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sisi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Braj Brumi Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Purushottam Chaitra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sisi Krishna Balaram Ki Jai. Sisi Gornitai Ki Jai. Sisi Radha Sham Sundar Lalita Vishaka Devi Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jainitai Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 60, which is entitled Krishna Teases Rukmiṇī. Today we're looking at verse 47. Naivālīkam aham manye. Naivālīkam aham manye. Vacas te madhusūdana. Vacas te madhusūdana. Ambāyā eva hi prāyaḥ. Ambāyā eva hi prāyaḥ. Kanyāyāḥ syād ratiḥ kvacit. Kanyāyāḥ syād ratiḥ kvacit. Naivālīkam aham manye. Vacas te madhusūdana. Ambāyā eva hi prāyaḥ. Kanyāyāḥ syād ratiḥ kvacit. Naivālīkam aham manye. Vacas te madhusūdana. Ambāyā eva hi prāyaḥ. Kanyāyāḥ syād ratiḥ kvacit. Naivālīkam aham manye. Vacas te madhusūdana. Ambāyā eva hi prāyaḥ. Kanyāyāḥ syād ratiḥ kvacit. Naivālīkam aham manye. Vacas te madhusūdana. naivālīkam aham manye vacas madhusūdana ambāyā eva hi prāyaḥ kanyāyāḥ syād kvacit. Ladies, naivālīkam aham manye vacas madhusūdana ambāyā eva hi prāyaḥ kanyāyāḥ syād ratiḥ kvacit. Not. Eva, indeed. Alīkam, false. Aham, I. Manye, think. Vacaḥ, words. Te, your. Madhūsudana, O killer of Madhu. Ambāyāḥ, of Ambā. Eva hi, certainly. Prāyaḥ, generally. Kanyāyāḥ, the maiden. Syāt, arose. Ratiḥ, attraction. To Śālva. Kvacit, once. Translation. Actually, I don't consider your words false, Madhūsudana. Quite often, an unmarried girl is attracted to a man, as in the case of Ambā. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Having refuted everything Lord Kṛṣṇa said, Śrīmatī Rukmiṇī, in a gracious frame of mind, now praises the truthfulness of his statements. In other words, she accepts that Lord Kṛṣṇa used her as an example to elucidate ordinary female psychology. The King of Kāśī had 3 daughters, Ambā, Ambālikā and Ambikā, and Ambā was attracted to Śālva. This story is narrated in the Mahabharata. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshulam Militam Yenam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Siva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Wow, what a storm. Hare Krishna, it's really a great honor, a great privilege to try to speak something on the Srimad Bhagavatam in front of all of you great people. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm praying for your blessings that I can say something worthwhile, something enlivening, and in line with Srila Prabhupada. I was thinking a few years ago, I was traveling with some devotees in a foreign country outside of India. And at one point, we met a spiritual leader, a religious leader, and he took us like on a tour of the place of worship that they had. And it was really something grand. It was in the middle of a big major city, and it was a huge piece of property with a very incredible structure, like the temple, the place of worship. It was something exceptional. If our movement had such a property, it would be a great source of pride for us. And so we saw that place and we heard from him a little bit. And he said to us, if you look inside our place of worship, we do not have any images of God there. Do you know why? And so we said, tell us why. And he said, it is because nobody knows what God looks like. He said, nobody knows what God looks like. And unfortunately, it was not the time or the place to boldly speak against what he had said. But the devotees there were probably all thinking a very similar thing. I was thinking, you should come to our temple. Then you will see so many deities. You will see we have so many paintings with so many spiritual images. And you can see that we have understood what it is that God looks like. And I was really thinking of the great mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We are one of his second pranam mantra, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatarine. Obeisances unto you, O servant of Saraswati Goswami. So, remembering how Srila Prabhupada is the disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Gauravani Pracharine, you are kindly preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the Western countries, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, which are full of impersonalism and voidism. Without connection to Srila Prabhupada, what would we really understand about God? The mainstream religions may be full of so many ideas like that. Nobody knows what God looks like. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have Srimad Bhagavatam, where we can understand so many things about the name of God, about the form of God, the qualities of God, the pastimes. And here, in this story, I'm bringing this up because Srila Prabhupada makes this point in the Krishna book, specifically in relationship to this story of Krishna teases Rukmiṇī. Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna speaking to Rukmiṇī in this way, in this chapter, it is a refutation of the impersonalist philosophers. They don't understand so many things about who is God, what is His form, what are His pastimes, etc. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the illuminating teachings of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand that Krishna is sitting on the bedstead of His wife. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is sitting on the bedstead of His wife. The sheets are white like foam. His queen Rukmiṇī is there serving Him in the company of His maidservants. And Krishna is speaking so many provocative, joking words to His wife because He wants to see her love for Him by irritating her a little bit. This is God. Who else is teaching like that? Where else would we know this? This is our hope for real transcendental life, taking shelter of the name, the form, the qualities, the pastimes of the Lord. I was reading something from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he was talking about like a fictional discussion between a group of Muslim scholars and a group of Vaishnavas. And the scholars, they were complaining, you are doing idol worship when you are worshipping the deity in the temple. And the Vaishnavas said, no, we are worshipping the Lord. And if you will not worship the Lord, if you will not take shelter of the form of the Lord, of the name of the Lord, then generally speaking, the tendency of people who will follow religions like that, with a less personal understanding, they will tend to remain very much on a materialistic platform. So that's our real hope for transcending the modes of material nature, transcending the tendency for mundane sense gratification. I was thinking even of this first verse from the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, there's the long purport. And Srila Prabhupada makes this very strong point. Don't mind, I will just read this. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically deals with the original and pure sex psychology, adiras, devoid of all mundane inebriety. The whole material creation is moving under the principle of sex life. In modern civilization, sex life is the focal point for all activities. Wherever one turns his face, he sees sex life predominant. Therefore, sex life is not unreal. Its reality is experienced in the spiritual world. The material sex life, so that's important, the reality is experienced in the spiritual world. The material sex life is but a perverted reflection of the original fact. We remember from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about the banyan tree reflected on the water, and those things that will be high up on the banyan tree will be very low in the reflection. So like that, we can understand. The original fact is in the absolute truth, and thus the absolute truth cannot be impersonal. It is not possible to be impersonal and contain pure sex life. Consequently, the impersonalist philosophers have given indirect impetus to the abominable mundane sex life because they have overstressed the impersonality of the ultimate truth. Consequently, man without information of the actual spiritual form of sex has accepted perverted material sex life as the all in all. There is a distinction between sex life in the diseased material condition and spiritual sex life. So, that is from the first purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, from the very first verse of the first canto. And the point that we want to make is that without the pure personal conception of the Lord, without being able to take shelter of the Lord's name, of the Lord's form, of the Lord's qualities, of the Lord's pastimes, the tendency will be to take shelter of the mundane tastes, without the spiritual rasas, without getting absorbed in the higher thing. Because we are persons, then we will tend to take shelter of the lower thing. So it is a great benediction, incredible mercy and incredible fortune that we have this information that there is spiritual personality, there is a supreme personality of Godhead. He has his pastimes, and infinitely better than struggling to try to enjoy the forms, the persons in this mundane world and be endlessly frustrated, is to try to take shelter of a real spiritual relationship with the Lord. I'll just read this point from Krishna book. Srila Prabhupada writes, Lord Krishna's dealings with Rukmiṇī as a perfect husband are a perfect manifestation of the supreme perfection of the personality of Godhead. There are many philosophers who propound a concept of the absolute truth in which God cannot do this or that. They deny the incarnation of God or the supreme absolute truth in human form, but actually the fact is different. God cannot be subject to our imperfect sensual activities. He is the all-powerful, omnipresent personality of Godhead, and by his supreme will, he can not only create, maintain, and annihilate the whole cosmic manifestation, but also descend as an ordinary human being to execute the highest mission. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, whenever there are discrepancies in the discharge of human occupational duties, he descends. He is not forced to appear by any external agency, but he descends by his own internal potency in order to reestablish the standard functions of human activities and simultaneously annihilate the disturbing elements in the progressive march of human civilization. In accordance with this principle of the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he descended in his eternal form as Sri Krishna in the dynasty of the Yadus. So it is a great challenge to the impersonalists and even to the mainstream religionists who are thinking like that person. Anyway, that was just my introduction. So Krishna is teasing Rukmiṇī, and Prabhupada writes that formerly Satyabhama, she got the full Parijata tree. First Narada gave a Parijata flower to Rukmiṇī, and then Satyabhama complained, I also want such a Parijata flower. So Krishna went to heaven, he fought off the demigods, and he got her a whole tree. And he was expecting that Rukmiṇī would also then demand something else. Because, like it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna enjoys that. When my lovers are speaking in a sulky mood to me, this is very attractive and it draws my mind away from the hymns of the Vedas. So he didn't get, Rukmiṇī was peaceful about the Parijata tree. She didn't say anything. So now Krishna is teasing Rukmiṇī, and he says, "Oh Rukmiṇī, you're such a qualified princess. So many highly qualified kings were after you. So many of them wanted to marry you. And they were very highly qualified people, and your father was happy about this, your brother was into this. They wanted to marry you to Shishupal. And Shishupal was a very highly qualified person. And all of those people that wanted to marry you, you should just consider objectively how they are more qualified than me," Krishna says. He says, "My aim of life is not very fixed. You know, I was born to Vasudeva, but then I grew up with the cowherd people. And so no one can understand, is this guy like a cowherd person? Is he like a king? You know, what is this guy's aim of life? No one can understand. And even those cows, I was tending the cows, they were never in my possession. They always belonged to Nanda Maharaj. I was just serving there. It's not that I own anything. And when Kamsa died, then the king went to my grandfather. It didn't even come to me, so I don't even possess anything. And because I had that village background, so I'm not always used to behaving and speaking in the ways that the sophisticated city people are. Like you sophisticated queens, you come from a very high-class culture, and I don't know how to fit into that culture. So I'm always speaking wrong and acting wrong because I don't have that kind of qualification. And the people that come to me, they're always like poor people. My devotees are always like poor people. They're not the wealthy people. And the people that interact with me, Śrīmatī Radharani, the gopis of Vrindavan, the cowherd boys, Mother Yashoda, my nature is I've abandoned them, and so they're all just crying after me. And so in so many ways, Krishna said, so many reasons why, Rukmiṇī, you made a great mistake, actually, marrying me. And here what he's saying is, in Queen Rukmiṇī's response, she doesn't respond in a very fiery way, actually. And here in this verse especially, she's kind of acknowledging that there is something true about what Krishna says. All the different kinds of statements that Krishna made. She's acknowledging that something is true, but not exactly in the way that Krishna has said. It's not that Krishna wants to say that Rukmiṇī is of a higher class, and I, Krishna, am of a lower class, and so this was a mistake, this kind of match. And Rukmiṇī is turning it around and saying, there's something true, but it's the opposite. It's that you are very high class, and I am not qualified to be with you. So she's acknowledging something about what Krishna says. Here she says, actually, I don't consider your words false, Madhūsudana. Quite often, an unmarried girl is attracted to a man, as in the case of Ambā. And this is kind of an amazing reference to talk that, yes, sometimes, so Queen Rukmiṇī in a kind of a humble spirit is saying, yes, sometimes a girl gets, before her marriage, she gets attracted to some man. And then because of that attraction, she may spoil her life. And maybe the foremost example is Ambā. I'll try to tell that story from the Mahabharata. So she's acknowledging something is true. Yes, I should be humble. Sometimes us ladies, we get attached to some man, and we don't necessarily see the bigger picture. Like in the old culture of India, the father, maybe the brother, everybody is involved in who will the daughter marry, so that the right choice is selected. If we just let the daughter choose on her own, she may, by some attraction, get attracted to the wrong person, and it may not turn out well. So the story of Ambā is from the Mahabharata, and it's kind of like in the grandparents' generation of the Pandavas. So the Pandavas' parents. And the situation there was that King Shantanu, who is the great-grandfather of the Pandavas, he had his son Bhishma with Ganga. And Bhishma was a highly, highly qualified person, perfect heir to the throne of the Kurus. But then when Shantanu, he lost his wife Ganga, he married again to Satyavati. And Satyavati made it a condition to marry Shantanu that only her sons could sit on the throne. And so Bhishma, out of an incredible act of loyalty to his father Shantanu, he took the horrible vow that I will never sit on the throne of the Kurus. I will never marry also. I will take a vow of celibacy so that there will be no heirs from me. Just I will humbly serve the throne of the Kurus. Bhishma vowed like that. And so the sons of Satyavati, she had an older son who died in a battle. And then the younger son, Vichitravirya, somehow he was on the throne. But he was not qualified like Bhishma. Just he was kind of there sitting on the throne, and Bhishma was taking care. And at that time, the King of Kāśī was making a competition for who would get the hand of his 3 daughters. The oldest one was Ambā, then there was Ambikā and Ambālikā. And they had a kind of swayamvar, but there was a little bit different rules to that swayamvar. We know that in the swayamvar of Draupadi, all of the different princes and kings, they were trying to strike the eye of the fish, and there was a roaming target, the wheel was rolling, and you just had a moment to get the arrow through, and you couldn't look directly, you had to look in the pond. Anyway, so that was there were certain rules to that swayamvar, and the queen in that swayamvar, she had some say. Draupadi, she rejected that Karna, I will not accept Karna, even if he can strike the fish, because he's not of the right caste. So in the rules of that swayamvar, she had that right. But in this swayamvar arranged by Kāśī, the rules were a bit different. And the rules were just that whoever comes and is most powerful amongst the different kings, whoever just by force can take the daughters. And it can be a representative also. And so in this case, even though Bhishma didn't need any wives because he had the vow of celibacy. So as a service to the throne, the Kuru's throne, Bhishma went to take the wives on behalf of Vichitravirya. And that was legitimate according to the rules of that kind of swayamvar. And so this Ambā, who was the oldest princess, she was attached to Śālva, like what it says here in the word for word and in the translation. Ambā was attracted to Śālva, but she didn't say anything about it. Maybe if she had said something to her father, something could have been worked out, but she just left it to, how things would play out in the course of the swayamvar, which was risky because there's no guarantee that Śālva was going to win, and in fact, he lost. And so, one place I read, Ambā was just about to put the garland on Śālva when Bhishma came on the scene, and Bhishma was such a powerful warrior that he completely dominated everybody else there. Nobody could challenge Bhishma in terms of his strength. And he forcibly took the 3 maidens. And so Śālva was frustrated. Ambā was frustrated. He took the 3 ladies to the Kuru dynasty. And then when she got there, that's when Ambā admitted, actually, I'm in love with Śālva. You stole me, but I'm in love with somebody else. And Vichittavirya, he said, well, I'm not interested in this maiden. If she's already attached to somebody else, then, it's not for me. It's not going to work. And so Bhishma said, okay, you can go back to Śālva in that case. And so they immediately brought a chariot, brought her back to Śālva, and she very humbly came before Śālva. Oh, my love, Śālva, I came back, I'm here. And Śālva rejected her. Śālva said, no, how can I accept you now? Already Bhishma defeated me, and already you've been to the house of the Kurus. You have to marry, you have to be with them now. That's it. I can't accept you anymore. It's too humiliating. And so Vichittavirya rejected this Ambā, then Śālva rejected this Ambā, then Ambā was pleading, okay, Bhishma has to accept me. But Bhishma had taken the vow of celibacy, so it wasn't possible for Bhishma either. And Ambā, she became so upset, because look, now she became like in a very dire situation. Even it's described she went to Parashuram to plead with Parashuram. Somehow you have to make Bhishma accept me, that he give up this vow. But Bhishma, he's consistently like a very upstanding, morally righteous person. When he takes a vow, that's it. He doesn't go back on the vow. So this vow of celibacy, the vow to protect the Kuru throne, even though he had sympathy for the Pandavas, he stayed on the side of the Kuru throne and he fought on behalf of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra like that. And so even Parashuram, his own guru, couldn't convince Bhishma. So Ambika was in such a horrible situation, and anyway, her suffering was big. We don't want to minimize it, but somehow she couldn't tolerate it also. Vaishnavas, we can think, Trinadapi Simichena, Tororavi Sahishnuna. She became so enraged, and she blamed Bhishma for her bad fortune. And she worshipped Lord Shiva, and she got the benediction from Shiva that she would be the cause of Bhishma's death. And so later, I think she may have even entered the fire. She took birth as a daughter from King Drupad, the father of Draupadi, also the father of Drishtadyumna, who was the head, the general of the Pandavas' army in the Battle of Kurukshetra. And so, born as a woman, Shakundini, later by some mystic process from the Yakshas, this Shakundini, the woman Shakundini, changed their gender, changed from being a female to a male. And then in the Battle of Kurukshetra, the Pandavas were in a very difficult situation. How can we conquer Bhishma? Actually, he's like unconquerable. In the Battle of Kurukshetra, he was a very devastating force on the side of Duryodhana. And so I forgot exactly, 12th, 13th day, something around there. Okay, we have to defeat Bhishma. And they understood that Shakundini, now Shakundi, as a male, he had this benediction to defeat Bhishma. And so they used this Shakundi to be in front of Bhishma. Because Bhishma, again, is such a morally strict person, he made a vow that he would never attack, never raise any arms, never fight with any woman. And so even though Shakundi was appearing as a male, Bhishma understood, actually this person took birth as a female, so still my vow that I should never attack a female, I should never attack this person. So they used that, they used Shakundi to kind of stand before Bhishma, and then Arjuna and other soldiers, they could attack Bhishma while he had his arms down, and by that trick, they could defeat Bhishma. Anyway, so that's the story of Ambā. Ambā is a very tragic, sad story of, and the story is basically of a woman who was attached to a man other than the person that she was kind of destined to marry. And by that attachment, she suffered great misfortune. And so Rukmiṇī is very humbly saying how some of Krishna's tricky words are true also. And she's even comparing herself to Ambā. Please forgive me for speaking over time. I'm not such a experienced public speaker, so it's difficult to get it all right. Maybe if there's just even one or two comments or questions, we could try to quickly do that. Anything? Mataji? The mic is coming your way.
Thank you for everything. Can you please read the verse again?
Yes. This is Rukmiṇī speaking. Actually, I don't consider your words false, Madhūsudana. Quite often, an unmarried girl is attracted to a man, as in the case of Ambā. Yes, Prabhu? Yes, Prabhu? Maybe can we pass the microphone to this Prabhu? Right, what did Krishna say? Well, the whole tenor of what Krishna is saying is, you were attached to me, and that was a mistake. Remember, Krishna wrote the letter she sent through a messenger. Please save me. My father, my brother are going to marry me to Shishupal, but I'm attached to you, Krishna. So please save me. And so Krishna did that, in a very heroic way. He snatched Rukmiṇī from that place. So her Rukmiṇī's fortune was excellent. It was nothing like Ambā. She didn't suffer, but also she had that. She was arranged to marry somebody else, but because she was so attached to Krishna, she communicated that, then she married kind of somebody else that she was in love with. So what did Krishna say? Krishna said, you made a mistake. There were so many more qualified kings than me. I have my cowherd boy background. There's so many things about me that are not very high class. And so you should have married one of those other, better princes. And so Rukmiṇī is like kind of saying something what is true about that. Yes, it was my bad female nature that I was attached to somebody else. Is that okay?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for that wonderful story. I would like some moral questions also, please. Like some moral questions now.
Louder. Why Śālva? Okay, the question is, why didn't Śālva accept Ambā after she came back? Well, I guess because, to kind of win the princes in that ceremony, that would have been a very heroic, noble thing for Śālva to do. But first of all, he lost to Bhishma, so then, it doesn't have the same glory that he took the prince just because she liked me, but not because I was able to win her. And then second of all, she already went to the home of the Kurus. So everybody would have seen that. Everybody would have seen Bhishma has already taken these maidens to the Kuru home, and then the Kuru home rejected and sent back to Śālva. to have Ambā as a wife at that point, it would have lost all the prestige, connected to having won her in the first place. Maybe just by some conservative value, she's already been to another man's home, so I can't accept you anymore. Something like that. He must have rejected her on like some basis like that.
Whatever love was there, it was not let us say.
Yeah, his love was not forceful enough to overcome those kinds of considerations. Though he was considering, a few things, and his pride was too strong. That these kings, you can imagine, they're very public people, and so if everybody knew that backstory about the queen, it may have lost some prestige.
In last time of Lord Ram also has to tell Mother Sita to go because she stayed at Rama's place. At that time, like we could understand, Lord Ram is setting an example as a king.
Right.
To the general public, like something like that.
Perfect example that supports why Śālva did like that. Yes, exactly the point. Yeah, so just like Ram, he felt like he had to banish Sita to the forest because people were talking badly that his queen has been already in Ravana's house. So in a similar way, Śālva must have considered that same kind of point.
You told in the class that Ambā suffered because she was destined to marry the chief leader. And then she rejected, so she suffered. So you did like
Well, just Bhishma won. The contest was set by her father, and Bhishma came and he won her fair and square. So somehow that was her destiny to belong to the Kuru throne. But, she wasn't satisfied with that because of her attachment to another man. I think we'll leave it there. Sorry for speaking over time. Thank you so much for your attention. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Rama, Rama